And yeah, so far we already have a comment, or we have a few comments.
Our audio wasn't working. Let me check that. But we have...
Audio is not working?
Audio isn't working. Is working right now.
Cannot hear you.
Yeah, now it is there.
Okay.
So I think OBS had a bug.
All right. Yeah, then maybe let's start with the very first audio. Same.
No, it's good. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They say that's good.
Cool. Yeah, Obi has had a bug. So let's start with the very first announcement here. So Arri just announced the new 35 Extreme. What do you think about it, Basti?
Yeah. So now Paul is getting called. Yeah. The new generation of the S35, Alexa S35. It's crazy in my opinion because Arri is now offering up to 660 FPS, which is insane. So yeah, that's crazy what Arri is offering with this camera. And they also brought out the new codec, the Arri Core. It's called, I think.
That's pretty interesting. Pretty wild, actually.
Yeah.
So from what I understood, and what's pretty exciting about that, it's a codec, an RGB codec, so which basically means like your normal H.265 or something like that, so a compressed codec, but you can change ISO and white balance in post.
Okay, that's pretty good, because if you want a compressed codec, even if you shoot at 660 FPS, which is insane, so I don't want to see how much data there's written on a SD card or anything else. So yeah, I think this compressed codec is necessary to achieve these 660 FPS.
Yeah, I think it's like 13-bit or something like that. So and also it's half the data rate of Arri RAW, so which is pretty substantial. But we have to mention one thing. So these they do like 330 FPS in the normal sensor mode, and then they have something like which is called sensor override. And this is something which is also pretty interesting. In this way, they're gonna achieve 660 FPS, which is then in Super 16 mode. But yeah, what's the drawback on that one?
That's a good question.
So the dynamic range will decrease.
Yeah.
From so normally they have like 17 stops, which is absolutely insane. But in this mode, it goes down to 11 stops. So I think it is pretty. I think it's pretty cool, even then, for using it in a studio when you want to do like food videography with high frame rates and stuff like that, and also like the rolling shutter will be increased. So there is a downside, of course, but it's pretty excited what Arri just did. I think especially with the new codec.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a really cool thing is that if you already have an Arri Alexa S35 at home, you can send it to Arri and they will change it to the extreme version. So even if you already bought an Arri, you can get it done with your Arri, which is already existing. And that's a pretty cool thing as well, because yeah, if you're a shooter or a videographer who's doing a lot of studio stuff like food or other commercial stuff, you need these high FPS shoots. I think it's pretty cool to get the option to send it to Arri, and Arri is remodeling your existing older version of the S35 to the extreme one, and you can get these up to 660 FPS bridges, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I read online that it will take them a couple weeks to do that, because they have to exchange. I mean, the sensor is still the same, but they have to exchange the processing and stuff like that, and also probably the cooling. And they will also do their test that the camera is working in every test condition imaginable. But still, I think the upgrade is, I'm not sure, was it like, I think it's 15,000 something like that?
Yeah, the price is pretty high to be true.
But still, it's Arri prices, but I think it's cool. And the question is really if you can have that camera do you will get like a sophisticated super slow motion camera, like a phantom camera, you know?
Yeah, that's the point, I think. So if you need these high FPS shootings and you are in a high budget filmmaking industry, I think it's a pretty nice thing to get it for only 15,000. So 15,000 is a big amount of money.
Yeah.
No questions asked. But you don't need a dedicated high FPS camera, which is pretty good in terms of workflow, I think.
Yeah. I think the Phantom and I think also the Freefly Ember, they still can go higher in terms of FPS, but still, I mean, it's still Arri then. So pretty impressive what they've done. They basically doubled the frame rates of the Alexa 35, which is already great. So I think also in OpenGate, they now doing like over 100 FPS or something. I mean, that's pretty wild actually. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. But we also have something from Sigma, right?
Yeah, that's correct, Pauli. So Sigma just announced, or not even announced, so it's still rumors. So the CEO of Sigma, he told in a press conference, I think it was, that there will be soon new RF and L mount lenses available on the market. So we get some new Sigma art lenses.
Oh yeah, that would be, I think even, especially for Canon RF users, this is a very welcome addition because I think we all love Sigma lenses. They're great. The price and value proposition is awesome. And yeah, I think this is pretty exciting. And also for L mount, which is already pretty, you have a lot of options. But I think they were talking about the focal length
24 millimeters,
35.
35. I think a new 85. I think 85 1.2 was mentioned, and I think 135 as well, and all with pretty awesome f-stops. I think all about 1.2, 1.4.
Oh yeah, I mean that's pretty exciting. I mean, RF has waiting for basically since forever, but yeah, this is pretty exciting, I think, and I think yeah, also for L mount, it's really great. Especially great to see if they will come up with some other zoom lenses, and if they are smaller one, I think they were also talking about calling them Mark II, right? So there will be some updates.
I think I've read something about that too. So maybe there will be the second gen of some different focal lens and some new second gens of the art lenses, like the 24 to 70 millimeter, which got an update last year, I think.
Yeah.
Which now has the manual
aperture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Yusuf just said in the chat, I'm into vintage and manual lenses. Yeah, we are both too.
So our setup is basically the S1H, which is the A camera, which is on a vintage lens as well. It's the 25mm Contax.
Yeah, size Contax.
Then we have this is the S1 II on the 85 Contax, but we are in Super 35 mode because it's pretty far away. And we also have the S52X, which is on the 24 to 60 L mount lens.
But it's the Panasonic one. It's the Panasonic
exactly
20 to 60 millimeter.
Actually, I wanted also to have like a Contax lens on it, but I couldn't find the third L to EF adapter. It's just somewhere here in the office. I couldn't find it.
Oh, it got lost anywhere here in the office or in the gear room. So we have a dedicated gear room over there.
Yeah.
Where all our gear is sitting and chilling throughout the day.
So if you have any further comments, just drop them down below. And I think, yeah, let's come maybe to the now more exciting topic, or to the, very exciting topic, so to say.
Yeah. So I think finally Sony got a pretty impressive competitor in terms of the FX3.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I mean, so we don't know too much so far, But I think one thing is pretty interesting because we all know that Nikon acquired Red a little bit ago, and now that's the first Nikon camera with Red on their back end. So it's pretty interesting to see what will change.
So we got a pretty nice guest in the comments. Davision just joined the chat.
Yes.
Yeah, we are not using auto exposing
Not
while
yet.
filming. No.
True.
And I think Gio, yes, we are all running all cameras connected to electricity to
Yep.
AC. So all cameras are getting power all the time. So no, the S1 Mark II will not run out of battery in this stream.
So I think that would be pretty exciting because there were also like these red LUTs for N-Log or something like that.
Yeah.
Which Nikon released very early on, but now potentially
Yeah.
seeing a Nikon camera with red color signs, if this is really coming, would pretty insane.
Yeah, so the rumors are saying that Nikon will be soon releasing the most interesting FX3 competitor on the market. So as we all know, now Nikon is using red color signs in their cameras as well. So we are getting a C-mount camera with red inside, which is pretty amazing, I would say.
Yeah, and they also used the sensor which they already used in the Z6 Mark whatever, but
Mark III.
yeah, it's basically the same sensor that is in the S1 II, so we can expect a very decent dynamic range and also fast readout speed. This is actually pretty exciting what Nikon is doing. And I think the rumors was also saying that they will have a 4-inch screen on the back.
Yeah. So Nikon is not keeping an eye on an electronic viewfinder, so they just ditched it, and they said, okay, we don't need an electronic viewfinder, we just want to have a bigger screen on the back. So that's all rumors, so we are not completely sure if that's the real thing. So all the rumors we found in the internet, so if you just Google it, you will find it as well. But Nikon is using a 4-inch screen, which is pretty cool because, as we all know, you need a good screen to frame your work, to look if the exposure is correct and all that stuff. So yeah, maybe we will see a small FX3 form factor camera from Nikon soon.
Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting because there were also these rumors about the S1. Yeah. Before the S1 II came out, there was also the rumor that Panasonic will come out with an FX3 competitor, which they didn't. Maybe they will at some point, but not yet. And that's very interesting to see. And I'm also wondering, since now everybody is like talking about open gate, if this camera also will have open gate.
Oh, that would be crazy, I think, because if you get red color signs in a small form factor camera with open gate, that would be just crazy. So you could achieve 9:16 content with red color signs, which would be just crazy.
Yeah, Davision is asking what would be the deal breaker for such a camera. I mean, obviously, high price tag.
Yeah.
Of course, if it's above 5K or something, but I think they will price it competitively.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they will. They want to fight against Sony, or they want to get some market share from Sony, obviously. I think something like HDMI, so proper. For me personally, also, if it's like a very video focused camera, it should have like a timecode input at some sort of.
Yeah.
Also, what is a little bit downside also for me on the Lumix cameras is the HDMI delay that you have. So that would be pretty cool how the HDMI delay is. And also,
I think it would be nice to see 32-bit float recorded inside the camera. I think that would be another pretty awesome deal breaker in my opinion, because audio is such an important thing in videography.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think to get 32-bit float internally without any accessories, you need to put on, like on the FX3, you need to put on this sound top handle to achieve 32-bit float. I think if Nikon does achieve it to get 32-bit float inside, it would be just another awesome deal breaker. And yeah, I think the price tag is the most important and most interesting thing we're gonna find out in the soon future, I think.
For me, very important also is like what codec are they using like internally, because the other cameras, they were coming out with NRAW. Now since Nikon acquired Red, this Nikon camera, will it have Red RAW? But that would be pretty insane. And will there be an internal codec, ProRes or H.265 or something like that? So this is pretty exciting for me to see what they're gonna do with that.
Yeah, I think interesting to see is how is this camera performing in terms of overheating.
Yeah.
Because if you have raw recording internally, I think there would be, maybe there could be an issue with overheating. So that's another interesting thing to look at if this camera really comes out. And I think Nikon or Red, because I think there will be a Red codec inside, I think they will maybe bring out a new one, maybe a little smaller one, like Arri with Arri Core. Maybe they get a compressed codec into the camera, which is helping with overheating.
I mean, Red RAW is like usually 16-bit. Maybe they will kind of find a differentiation with lower bit rate or lower bit depth for that one, so that it's not like competing also with the Red cameras. But I don't know. I mean, it's pretty exciting, and I think also like you talked about the heating or the cooling structure of the camera. Also, one of the previous comments that we got: will the S1 II live up until the end of the stream? Because there were some overheating concerns about the camera. Yeah, obviously. I mean, like, I personally didn't get it to overheat now. I mean, I've shot some projects with it, and I was using 5.1K 60, and then the interviews I was doing in like OpenGate, but I never had any issue. But I think I'm also a little bit conservative because I've read about these rumors, so I'm still pretty, I don't know, personally I wouldn't use it when I have an outdoor interview in, like environments like today, like 30 degree plus, so that would be probably not a good thing.
Yeah, true thing. So Onur just asked in the chat if we have more, or if we can share more information to this camera, and he also said that the rumors were there for a while already. Yeah. And he said, blink twice if we if you know more. Yeah, we're sorry.
Yeah, we just researched in the internet different sources, and I mean, IBC is coming, so I think most of the camera brands will release something right to the IBC or just before the IBC. So I think we just have to wait a couple more weeks, and then we will see what everything is going. And I'm also excited if Nikon will be the only FX3 competitor. So I mean, Sony did a great thing with the FX3 because
Absolutely.
It has been used multiple times. It's still loved by many people. Will there be an FX3 Mark II? Nobody knows.
So they tried with the FX2.
Yes, somehow.
Did not work as planned, I think. And Davision is blinking twice in the chat. Okay. Yeah. So I think there's not so much more to say about this potential new awesome camera.
I mean, we've said everything that we gasped in the internet. So just drop in the comments what you think, and we are happy to discuss it. And I think otherwise we're gonna go forward with the next rumors, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the wrong one. That's the correct one. We have another camera manufacturer,
Canon. Oh, yes.
which is maybe releasing some new cameras in the soon future. And yeah, so we have some different cameras that could be released soon. So we have an EOS R3 Mark II, which could potentially be released in Q4 2025. And also we have read about rumors about 2 new EOS Cinema line cameras, and I'm pretty impressed that there are so many rumors out there. So yeah.
So the first one was, let's talk about the R3 Mark II for a second. Because I think they have, there was mentioning like, okay, this one will the competitor of the FX9. So it will have some sort of a global shutter.
Yeah.
But also Canon already have the R1, which is like the flagship camera. So I'm questioning myself how they wanna do it, how they wanna positioning in the market so that it doesn't cannibalize the R1. But I personally really liked the R3 Mark I. Was a great camera. So yeah, and also another question that I have is, because as we all know, with global shutter sensors, it's always hard to maintain a high dynamic range, and Canon is, let's say, a little bit known for that they don't have the highest dynamic range compared to the market. So how are they gonna deal with that one?
Yeah, so like David is asking in the chat, what brand would you see implementing OpenGate next? That's a good point, because it's also mentioned that there could be a potential Canon EOS R3C Mark II or an next gen
like
camera.
R5, yeah, successor of the R5C.
Yeah, exactly. And as rumors say, this camera is going to get OpenGate shooting, which would be crazy because there's no other well-known brand I know personally that is offering OpenGate. It's just Lumix.
So I mean, like the question is, if they're gonna do that, what is gonna be about the C400? Because that one also has a 3x2 sensor. Will that one also get an update to record OpenGate?
Yeah, that's mentioned too, because we already said that there could be 2 potential new EOS Cinema line cameras. So in the rumors, on Canon rumors, it said there could be a potential successor of the R5C. And there could be, or there will be, a new one. They don't know any namings about that yet. So the rumors say that there is going to be a new camera which will be better or over the C400, but below the C500. There will be no C500 Mark II or even C7 Mark III. Yeah, there will be no C500 Mark III, and there will be no C700 Mark II. So what Canon wants to achieve is that they want to go more in this documentary style, indie style filmmaking. So as the rumors say, maybe the next one will be a box style camera.
Okay, so that's pretty interesting, because like currently I think the C400 is the flagship camera.
Yeah,
because it's the only one currently with an RF mount, I mean from the top of the line. And the C500 Mark II, which is still an awesome camera, still has EF. So I think if there's something above and they don't want to continue the C500, pretty also what the naming will be. Is it the C600? Is it the C450?
I talked about that earlier this day.
C444. Yeah, so that's gonna be interesting, I think. And yeah, also if it was mentioned,
how about C430, because 4x3 sensor?
Oh,
that's a good one.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, so I think pretty exciting times here now for and also especially I really like the R5C. It was a great camera. My only gripe that I had with that one was like it was drawing power like hell. And yeah, I was because if I want to use that camera, I have to build it out with a big rig and everything attaching it to it, so that it gets like kind of a normal battery life. And that was kind of the only bummer. But image-wise, that one was great.
Yeah, I think I never had my hands on an R5 Mark II or R5C. I'm not sure. I think the last Canon I had in my hands was the C80 or the C400 when Canon sent it to you and we used it in the office. I
Yeah.
think these were the last modern Canon cameras I had in my hands, and I used them. And I think before that it was the original EOS R, which you owned several
Oh
years
yeah, yeah.
ago.
The R6 Mark II as well. But
Yeah, true. The R6 Matuk, I think, was the last
yeah,
one.
but I think still the question. I think also if we're talking here about the FX3 competition, the potential
Yeah.
successor of the R5C should also be something about an FX3 competitor.
Yeah, I think Canon is already aware of that, because if they bring out a new R5C Mark II or R5C style camera, it has a similar form factor than an FX3. And if we now get open gate and we get nearly the same hardware specs as the original R5 Mark II,
Yeah.
we get a pretty impressive camera. And if Canon goes another step forward and they put in more interesting stuff, more or better hardware, and they maybe enable better codecs, or you can think about a lot of stuff. I think Canon has a pretty good competitor for an FX3, because Canon also builds awesome quality cameras, and we can't talk that bad.
True, but there's also the question like the FX3 is still in the market for quite some time now, and there was no real FX3 competition from any other brands which checked all the boxes like the FX3 did. So I think it's fair enough to say if they are too late to the game. And if so, they have to be very impressive specs wise.
Yeah, that's a good point. And like David just mentioned, the IBIS of the R5C was not the best, and I think that's a pretty good point. Thanks, David, for that. I think Canon can improve pretty good at this point, because as we see in every new Panasonic camera, Panasonic is always improving their IBIS, which is crazy good now.
Yeah, it was missing the IBIS. Yeah, true. There's always like there's also like these. If you have a camera that's dedicated for cinema, there are a lot of DPs that don't want to have a camera which has image stabilization in it. So that was also why Panasonic released the GH5S, which has no IBIS.
Oh, okay.
Because there's the demand on the market from DPs that don't want to have IBIS, so they want to have all the stabilization done by the things that they're using. So I think that one was potentially also the reason why the R5C didn't have that. But also now, since the hybrid market is like going crazy, and they also did it very great with the R5 Mark II in terms of IBIS. I think it's pretty interesting to see what will be, what they will come up with actually.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting, because I think there will be other new cameras on the market soon as well. So we just talked about Nikon, because I think that's the most interesting one, and we talked about Canon because Canon is Canon. Sadly, I think also Panasonic is going to announce one smaller camera, soon, but we haven't found anything more in depth for that. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm still hoping for kind of a competitor from Lumix for the FX3, so a proper successor of the S1H, because when they announced the S12 alongside the S12E was, and the R was released before, they officially said the S1 lineup is now complete, which means there won't be something like an S1H Mark II. So could be that it will have a different name, but I doubt that it will come out this year.
Yeah, and I think what I forgot to mention, in January 2026, we are going to host the second Creator Summit.
Yes.
And now Nikon already said that they are going to come to have a booth there. And maybe if we are lucky, if we are lucky enough, they will bring, if they announce the new camera, maybe they will bring it there as well. I just forgot about to talk about that earlier.
Yeah, true. So that one will be excited at Creator Summit, that we have so many camera brands there, and all of them will have some sort of a new camera. And it's gonna be very interesting what they will come up with. But I still hope for a proper Lumix a camera that is very dedicated to video, as the S1H was. For me, neither the S12 is it, nor the S52X on some instances. So
that would be lovely to see too. So we are talking quite a lot of that. So we're often talking about, we would be such grateful for Panasonic if we get an S1H Mark II, because we still use that camera nearly every day. We are using it on so many client shoots. We are using it for YouTube. We are using it to test gear, to test lenses, or just even for our own smaller, more creative projects. We're still using that camera, and this camera is awesome. And I think I can talk for both of us that when I say we love that camera.
Yeah.
And fun fact for that. So years ago, I talked to Paule, and Paule was never someone who was interested in Panasonic or into Panasonic cameras. And I bought myself the original S5. And sometimes later, Paule said, I just bought the S1H and I love it. And since then, the amount of Lumix cameras is rising all the time in the office.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, like the cameras are great, and especially if you do video professionally, they offer a lot for the money, especially with the menu and all the things they do. So, but we are talking too much about Lumix now.
Yeah.
But Panasonic, if you're listening, we want an S1H Mark II successor.
We want it so badly.
And I'm pretty sure that we are not the only one out here.
No, I'm pretty sure we're not the only one.
So what else do we have on the list here?
So, DJI.
Oh.
Our friends from DJI. They will soon announce the Mini 5 Pro. So, these are not just rumors anymore, because FCC documents got leaked. So we will sure know that DJI is announcing soon, and as it says, it will be in summer 2025. So we are in August now. So I think the time until the official announcement will be not that long anymore. And also IBC is right next to the door. So IBC will be soon. So I think we will soon hear about the new Mini 5 Pro.
Yes, that's true. I mean, like, we've read about 4K 120, which is insane. They have like a flight time of like 36 minutes, but in reality, it's always less than that. I think it's a 1-inch. No,
it's going to be a 1-inch sensor, and you get up to 4K 120.
Yes.
Internally in this small drone.
Yeah, like sub 250 grams, something like that. So.
Yeah, exactly. But as some rumors said, it's not sure anymore if DJI really is able to fit into these 249 grams, because in Europe you need a drone which is less than 250 grams. So 249 grams is the limit, where you don't need a special license to fly that drone, and you don't have that many rules you have to follow in terms of flying the drone and use it for filmmaking as well. So yeah, that was one point that was mentioned online, that they are not completely sure if that will be the case. But I think DJI is doing everything to achieve these 249 grams, because otherwise the Mini wouldn't be that interesting for so many people.
The question also is like, I'm a little bit confused about, it's mentioned Pro. So if it will have the name Pro, will it also mean that you can adjust the aperture? Or will it have a fixed aperture? So that was kind of a thing. And in some drones you also couldn't, will it have proper D-Log?
Yeah.
So what about that? So also color depth and something like that. There were always like little quirks in the cameras which were not like the Mavics, that have like some quirks like fixed aperture, no D-Log, or some kind of D-Log. So we'll see about that, but I'm pretty sure that there will be some kind of difference why you should want to have like a Mavic 3 or something like that, obviously. Or
yeah, absolutely. You need these differences in all these kind of drones, because why is DJI offering a drone that small that is able to do more than a bigger drone from DJI? So yeah, I think there will be some differences, some big differences, and I think that will be pretty interesting to see. And yeah, I'm hoping that DJI maybe hooks us up with a Mini 5 Pro. So we don't have any Mini drone here, so we only have the Mavic 3 Classic.
Yes.
Yeah, Classic. And still, we love that drone and we use it for all our drone stuff. And yeah.
Yeah, just D-Log. That's what the Vision is saying. But there were still some comments that I want to touch on about S1 II, if it is a competitor or if it is already better than the FX3. And so let's summarize it. I think specs-wise, yes, they have some pretty interesting things also with recording B-RAW externally, and also with all the other stuff with the codec options, the fast sensor, dynamic range, and so on and so forth. But for me personally, as a professional camera, there can't be anything related to overheating.
Yeah.
So that's like full stop. And the FX3 doesn't overheat. I mean, also sure it has it has all these resolutions and stuff like that, sure, but I think if you want to have a camera and you want to use it for filmmaking, then you have to use it in every scenario imaginable, and that camera has to work flawlessly in all these circumstances. And if that's not the case,
yeah, that's true. And I think that's one of the problems with the S1 Mark II, because due to overheating, you maybe get to the point where you have this issue where the camera is overheating in a scenario you don't want to overheat your camera.
I mean, I really like that camera, but this is annoying. And one reason for that is that the CF Express cards are getting very hot. So when I was using it on the shoots, I just wrote to the SD card because I knew that beforehand. And I also set not only the operating temperature too high from the camera, but also I set the fan too fast. And in that mode, the fan was almost as loud as the red one. I'm just exaggerating now, but it was pretty loud actually. So Yeah, I mean, bottom line, it still will overheat. And okay, if it's overheating in 5.1K 60 FPS, that's still kind of okay for me, but it shouldn't overheat in 24p.
Yeah, that's true. So
Because if you're doing interview, and just remember last year where we did a whole day of interviews
Oh.
outside at 30 degrees with
no,
two
even more,
cameras.
35.
It was
35.
even more. There was no cloud, nothing whatsoever. And the cameras were running all the day. And the S1
Powerhouse.
H never had any issues
Hi,
with
Luca.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that shoot was crazy. It was through the day, no cloud, the sun burned down as hell.
Yeah.
It was so freaking hot. I got a pretty nice sunburn as well.
Yeah.
Because we were shooting outside interviews, and lighting was quite difficult as well, because it was so freaking bright outside.
I mean, I think actually the shoot turned out pretty well, because we are backlighting everybody, and then we just gave them a bounce, and it was looked pretty good, like corporate style of bright. And we used the C70 as the wide camera, and then we used the S1H as the close camera. And I mean, as I've said, the S1H is a workhorse and never let me down. So therefore, I will always prioritize the S1H when it comes to proper shooting in terms of the S1 Mark II,
but
sadly.
the C70 did a great job as well, because if I remember it correctly, when we rigged everything down after we finished the shoot at, I think it was 4:30 p.m. or so, the cameras and all the lenses were so damn hot, and I was a little bit afraid, because oh wow, is that really that healthy for a camera and a lens? Because some parts of the metal you couldn't even touch properly, because it was so freaking hot, and that was crazy that none of any camera we used was shut down due to overheating.
Yeah, so that was great. Yeah. Lumix S1 needs to release a new box cam like Varicam, or more better like EVA 1. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I mean, there was never a successor to the Varicam, which was an awesome camera. Also, the EVA was kind of great. And but there's also, I think when I talked to Panasonic, they said like that's a different division inside the company, because if you pay attention closely, like the Varicam and the EVA, they're just mentioned Panasonic did it. And the other cameras, like the mirrorless cameras, are called Lumix. So they have a different division inside of that, but they said like they don't know what they're actually doing. So I don't know.
Yeah, but if we remember when you said they told you that the S line is finished now with the S1 Mark II, maybe or hopefully we will see a new line of cameras soon on the market. Maybe next year, maybe in 2 years' time. Maybe they bring out a cinema line, an FX line, as like Sony did it with the FX3, FX6, FX9, and maybe we will get some box style cameras there, and yeah, hopefully we get a successor of the S1 S1H. Yeah, that would be nice to see in a new line of cameras.
Yes, Yusuf just said the BS1H. Yes, true. That one was also like that was one was the smallest box camera I've ever seen, and probably it was great for streaming and everything like that. But yeah, I think it was a little bit difficult for me because I compared it very much to the Z-Cam, which also had like this tiny little screen.
Was it smaller than the Z-Cam E2 F6, the BSH1?
I think so.
Oh, okay, wow.
I think it was smaller. Yeah, I mean, like it has SDI, everything was great there, but just like the menu and how you navigate through was a little bit difficult for me. And it has the same sensor as the S1H, so maybe they do something like with the box camera and we'll create something like that one. I don't know, but it's interesting to see.
So Markman05 just asked if we used any of the new Nikon cameras for video. No, we did not use any Nikon cameras of the newer models.
Yeah.
So a good friend of us, he has a newer Nikon model, I think, the C6 Mark II, I think.
Yes.
And he said it was pretty cool and it was pretty good to use, also for video. He's using it most for photography, to be honest. But he told us that the video quality is pretty nice as well.
Yeah.
And just to make a joke on that point, so we're still using not a Nikon in that direction, but we're using the Komodo. So yeah, we're using a Nikon nowadays. If you say, okay, red is Nikon now, so yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that's. I've never shot with the Nikon cameras personally that much, but as they did like recently with the video features, it's pretty great to see. And also personally, owning the Dragon 6K, the Komodo, so a little camera which will be like the same image quality or image pipeline in IPP2 would be awesome. For me personally.
Yeah, I think that would revolutionize the filmmaking industry a little bit, because if you now get cheap cameras with the same image quality and maybe also the same color pipeline as red cameras, so you can match these cameras pretty good in post or even on set. So I think to have these possibilities to buy a cheaper camera like a Nikon, I don't know, maybe the new model.
And then the question really is Nikon RAW about to extinct?
Yeah.
Because let's face it,
yeah, true.
Red RAW is the superior codec in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, only time will tell. I think we got a few other what should a Sony A7 IV have for you?
Other than proper colors.
Sony.
Open gate.
Open gate, obviously. A nice menu to navigate through.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Sony menu, to be honest.
But yeah, otherwise, I think what is still kind of what's something that I don't understand. Even the cinema cameras from Sony don't have it. None of them, even the Burano, I think, not even the Venice has false color.
Okay.
That's pretty interesting. Maybe something like that would be interesting. Some nice, really like tools to judge exposure for. I mean, otherwise, all the other Sony cameras have been great so far. So actually, every camera that you now buy these days, if it's from Lumix, if it's from Nikon, if it's from even Fujifilm or something like that, you can't go wrong actually these days, especially for those price points that you can get cameras nowadays, which is ridiculously if you compare it to like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Sony can't improve in every topic because Sony's offering a pretty awesome autofocus.
Yes.
I do like the design of the cameras Sony's offering, so I like how they feel and how they look. It's a pretty good camera, and yeah, I think just the small things Sony could improve, which would make an A7 IV more interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, also, what will be great to see what they've done with the electronic ND that they have. That is pretty cool, which you have in the FX3 and so on and so forth. So that won't come in a mirrorless body, but it's there was also rumored for before the S1 II came out that the S1H successor will have internal ND. I mean, like, I mean, if we're talking about that already, internal ND, there's one camera manufacturer which is kind of on a radar from somebody, and it managed to get NDs inside the L mount, which is already pretty tricky, and that's DJI. So the question we should all ask ourselves, will DJI come up with an own camera? Because other than the Ronin 4D, which is kind of a specialty camera, since they have all the resources that they actually would need to build a proper camera. So what do you think, Basti?
I think if DJI is really going that step, that will be awesome. Because the Ronin 4D already was a nice invention because there was nothing comparable on the market.
There is no...
Or there is still no
Yeah,
comparable other camera that is offering all these features that the Ronin 4D is offering, and it's going up to 12K. So that's or 8K. I'm not sure.
Yeah, 8K.
8K. Yeah, that's crazy. So you get a gimbal camera
Chicken.
thing. you get a chicken head, and I think that's the technology they used. They looked at chickens and the movement on not just chickens and how these birds are called in English. In Germany we say Taube.
Yeah, it's like a pigeon.
Pigeon. Didn't remember that word. So pigeons, they also move their head frontwards and backwards to stabilize their vision. And
I mean, it's still the only camera really that you can, or the gimbal version where you can have a smooth Z-axis. Because in normal gimbals you always have like the problem with the Z-axis. On the 4D you don't have that issue. I mean, I had it for about a month or so. Pretty interesting camera. And it's also interesting to see that it's got used on some feature films, Hollywood movies. So, and I mean that would be pretty interesting to see.
And if you look at what DJI is already offering in that camera segment, DJI knows how to build cameras. So they have the Osmo, which is a pretty small camera, which is offering a pretty nice image quality. They know how to build drone cameras. They know how to build action cameras. They just released the Osmo 360 360-degree camera, which is also offering 8K and is the competitor of the X4. I think there's an X5.
Yeah, there's the X5.
The X5 is already existing. Yeah, I think DJI knows how to build cameras, and I'm interested in what DJI could bring up potentially for the filmmaking industry. And I think they will go for a box style camera, because I think nothing else would make that much sense for a cinema filmmaking camera on the vision of DJI. And I hopefully see an internal electronic ND.
Yeah, they have already.
Exactly. And all that interesting stuff. And I think DJI bought Hasselblad, or did Hasselblad bought DJI? I think other way around. I think DJI bought Hasselblad. So if DJI is doing something pretty crazy with Hasselblad, that would be so freaking interesting.
Then every other camera manufacturer that we just talked about will sweat heavily. So I think like that's only time will tell at this point, but would be pretty interesting, because DJI is the only one who managed getting internal NDs into the L mount. So either they come up with a cinema camera, dedicated cinema camera, or which could be box style, or they come up with kind of a hybrid mirrorless camera. So
or maybe like the Sigma FP.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe a camera like the Sigma FP camera could be a thing too, I think. but it's pretty small. It has a small form factor, so yeah, maybe. And another interesting thing is, because if DJI is offering a cinema camera, it will work perfectly with their DJI ecosystem.
Yeah.
And I think that's another interesting point to have a look at then, when DJI is maybe announcing, or there will be rumors or whatever, because we do use the DJI transmission system. We use
Yes.
DJI wireless focus system. So if DJI managed to build a camera that works so freaking good and flawless with their ecosystem, I think that's a game-changing point as well. That's a deal breaker.
Yeah, obviously. So I mean, that would be awesome. So Creative
Yeah.
Nords was asking 16 or 14-bit red raw. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Creative Nords. Hello. You are referring to into this new Nikon camera that's gonna be announced. So that's a pretty interesting question, because we already talked about that. Is Nikon NRAW about to extinct if Nikon will have red raw internally? But then what's the reason to buy a proper red camera if you can already have the codec red raw inside the smaller cameras? So I think there must be some sort of a like a drawback or something like that it won't have the full bit depth that the 16-bit raw red raw has. So
Yeah.
maybe it will be 12-bit, maybe 14-bit, something like that. So potentially it could be that case.
Yeah.
And R3 is super underrated for the used price it goes for now.
What's the
Totally
used
agree.
price?
I don't know what the price is, but I just know that they sent the camera to me when they announced it, and that I really liked the R3. Really great camera.
I think
also
used on the German market, because I can just look up the German market. It goes for around 3.5.
Okay. I mean, for the size of the camera and everything, and also can do 6K Canon RAW light. I mean, that's great. Yeah, but there are so many cameras these days.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. Yeah.
The perfect camera does not exist
Yes.
nowadays.
Exactly.
So we have a beautiful German expression for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, there was also mentioned in the comments what will be if Sony will come up with an FX3 Mark II. I think at some point they have to.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will do it this year for some reason, because I think they somewhat squeezed in the FX2 because they were thinking like, oh, we have to release something because we are not ready yet for the FX3 Mark II. Because also the FX6 could need an upgrade. Will there be an FX9? So there's so many questions in Sony's lineup that they have to tackle. And I'm not sure if they do it this year. So
I think not, because if I would be Sony, I would wait until competitors and other brands could bring out a potential successor or a competitor to the FX3 or FX6, FX9, but I think the FX3 is the most known or most talked camera. There could be an successor or not a successor. Shit.
What's in German?
Competitor. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
I completely lost. I think that would be the correct way, or the way I would go, because to keep an eye on what others do is a well-known thing in the industry, and to see what they could offer, and maybe Sony is already aware of what other brands could.
I mean, Sony has an advantage in terms of sensors, because they are building the sensors themselves. So they can decide, oh, that's the sensor that we're gonna keep for our lineup, and then the rest we're gonna sell out to other brands. And yeah, I mean, like the newest sensor is like something which is in the S1 Mark II, a 6K sensor. So will there be a Sony camera that has even better specs than that sensor? Probably. It's also a Sony sensor, so if somebody is able to do it, then probably Sony.
Yeah, true.
And also will they go for 8K? I don't know. Personally, I don't need 8K. That's also something like a debate, but I don't know. Also, the sensor in the S1R Mark II is not new. It's also the same sensor that is also in the Ronin 4D 8K. So that one is also kind of old, but you don't need to have every time the newest sensor. Just look at Arri. Just do one proper sensor, and then you can go for years.
Yeah, or do it like Blackmagic with their RGBW sensor.
Oh,
they now
yes.
offer in the newer cameras,
Yes,
which is a pretty impressive technology and a pretty impressive sensor.
Yeah.
We didn't get our hands on yet.
Yes.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we will be at Gamescom.
Yeah, we are already in exchange with Blackmagic. So as soon if they have like a unit that they can send to us, we'll be happy to test it, because also that's pretty interesting for me how that one is gonna behave in terms of dynamic range and highlight roll off, so on and so forth. So yeah.
Yeah, and because you just mentioned you don't need 8K.
Yeah.
Blackmagic is offering 17K.
Yeah. But
which
I mean,
is crazy.
The great thing is the in-sensor scaling, so that you can do raw full width of the sensor with a lower resolution. Something you can't do 6K on the 12K. You can do 12K, 9K, and then 4K. So personally, 6K would be nice for me, but then they probably won't sell the Pixel 6K anymore.
Yeah. But the Pixels had a pretty interesting price drop lately. So the EF version dropped, I think, nearly $800. $800, 800 euros, about that, which was pretty impressive, because the Pixel 6K is still a great camera. I do like that camera. We had it here, we tested it out, and it did a pretty awesome job, and I like box style, and I'm a little bit in love with the Pixel 6K and also the Pixel 12K,
which still has the same sensor as the S1H.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I think it was a great round for the very first time. We will do it again.
Yeah.
Pretty soon, next month. So when something is
I think it's post IBC then.
Oh yes.
Or maybe we do it pre IBC or post IBC, but I think post IBC could be more interesting for.
Yeah. Then we can talk about all the things that just came out lately. Maybe we'll have the one or the other unit here inside, so that we can show to you guys.
We need a fourth camera perspective then.
Yeah,
exactly. We need a top down.
Exactly. Yeah. So guys, hope you enjoyed it. Auto Exposed first episode just wrapped, and
also my first time in front of camera.
Yes. Also from now on with Basti, and see you guys in the next one. Cheers.